You think you know this story. Ancient humans tamed wolves, threw them scraps, trained them over generations until something obedient emerged. That is the version. Clean, logical, human controlled. It is almost entirely wrong. The real story starts earlier, runs stranger, and ends in a place nobody predicted. It does not begin with a human decision. It begins with a wolf pup in the arms of a child on a frozen steppe 30,000 years ago. And it ends with the most sophisticated survival partnership any two species have ever formed without either one planning it. Nobody sat down and decided to domesticate a wolf. The archaeological evidence makes that clear. What the evidence does show is something far more interesting. It shows children. Wolf pups raised in proximity to humans during their critical socialization window, the first 14 weeks of life, develop fundamentally different fear responses to humans than wild wolves. This is not training. This is biology. Researcher Eric Zeman documented this in detail in the 1970s, studying wolves raised in human settlements, and the findings were unambiguous. A wolf pup exposed to humans before 14 weeks does not unlearn fear of humans. It never develops it in the first place. Ancient human camps were not sterile environments. They were chaotic, loud, full of smells and children who had no concept of danger the way adults did. Orphaned wolf pups, brought back from hunts, injured pups found near kill sites, pups that wandered into camp following food smells, all of them would have ended up in the hands of children almost immediately. Archaeologist Darcy Morey's extensive analysis of early domestication sites found that the most consistent factor across multiple unconnected cultures was not deliberate breeding programs or adult handling. It was early pup exposure in social environments. Children playing with wolf pups for weeks and months was not a side effect of domestication. It was the mechanism. The pup that grew up hearing human voices, sleeping near human bodies, associating human smell with food and safety, was a fundamentally different animal to the wolf born in the wild. Not tamed, rewired, and when that animal had offspring of its own, it passed a measurably reduced fear response to the next generation. One pup at a time, one child at a time, across thousands of years, the wolf began to change. Here is what ancient humans got out of this arrangement first. Not a hunting partner, not a companion. An alarm system that no human technology could replicate for another 20,000 years. A wolf's nose operates at a sensitivity level thousands to hundreds of thousands of times greater than a human's depending on the specific scent. The precise figure is almost irrelevant. What matters is that a wolf smells what is coming long before any human in the group has any idea anything is there at all. Their hearing detects frequencies and distances no human ear can process. And critically, they react to threat before any human in the group would have any awareness of it at all. Researcher Raymond Coppinger spent decades studying the relationship between early human settlements and proto-domestic wolves, and identified what he called the sentinel effect. Wolves living on the periphery of human camps, close enough to benefit from food scraps and warmth, would react to approaching predators, rival human groups, or large prey animals with immediate and distinctive behavioral changes. Ears forward, body stiffening, directed attention toward a specific point in the darkness. Ancient humans learned to read this. Not quickly and not deliberately at first, but over generations of proximity, the humans who paid attention to wolf behavior survived encounters that killed the ones who did not. That is the kind of selection pressure that changes a population fast. Cave lion, short-faced bear, rival group moving through the tree line at 3 in the morning. The wolves knew before anyone else. And the ancient humans who understood what the wolves were telling them had minutes of warning that meant the difference between a defensive position and a massacre. This was not a dog alerting its owner in a warm house. This was a living radar system operating in complete darkness on a frozen steppe where the things moving through the night could kill every person in the camp before dawn. Fire should have kept wolves away. Every instinct the wolf had said, "Stay back." And yet the archaeological evidence at sites across Europe and Asia consistently shows wolf remains clustered around ancient human hearths. Not at a safe distance. At the fire. The explanation is both simple and extraordinary. The wolves that had grown up around humans had replaced fear of fire with association of fire with food, warmth, and safety. For those animals, fire meant the same thing it meant for the humans sitting around it. The night was dangerous. The fire made it less so. Anthropologist Pat Shipman's analysis of hearth sites at multiple Upper Paleolithic locations found animal bone assemblages showing wolves and humans consuming food in the same spaces after dark. Not sequentially, simultaneously. The positioning of remains suggests animals comfortable enough in human presence to eat alongside them rather than waiting for scraps after the humans had moved away. What this meant practically was that the fire circle at night was a shared space. Humans on one side, wolves on the other. Both species oriented toward the same heat source. both species alert to the same darkness beyond the firelight. The wolves were not guests. They were not pets. They were participants in the same nightly calculation every creature on that steppe was running. Stay warm, stay alert, make it to dawn. The humans got an extra set of senses pointed at the dark. The wolves got heat and food and safety in numbers. Neither species had a word for the arrangement, neither needed one. The grave at Oberkassel in Germany dates to 14,000 years ago. Inside it, an older man and a young woman, buried together. And next to them, a dog, not placed symbolically at a distance. Physically alongside the human remains, close enough that the positioning could not be accidental. Isotope analysis of the dog's bones showed it had been sick. Seriously sick, with canine distemper for the last weeks of its life. It had not been working. It had not been hunting. It had not been useful in any practical sense. And yet someone had kept it alive, fed it, and when it died, buried it with enough care that 14,000 years later, researchers could reconstruct its final illness from its teeth. That is not function. That is something else entirely. But before that grave, there were thousands of years of a simpler, colder, more practical version of the same closeness. Skeletal evidence at multiple sites, including Predmosty in the Czech Republic, dating back approximately 25,000 years, shows wolf and dog remains inside shelter structures. Not outside, not at the entrance. Inside, positioned within the inner areas of the shelter structure, in ways that researchers interpret as consistent with close human proximity rather than storage or disposal. In minus 40-degree temperatures, a wolf generates significant body heat. A human generates significant body heat. Two species that have spent enough generations together to stop being afraid of each other, pressed together in the dark inside a mammoth bone house while the steppe outside tries to kill everything, are not making a philosophical statement about interspecies relationships. They are just trying to stay warm enough to see morning. And somewhere in the middle of that, across thousands of those nights, something shifted. The wolf stopped being the animal that lived near the humans. It became the animal that lived with them. Not because anyone decided it, not because anyone planned it, because thousands of winters of sleeping in the same dark, listening to the same sounds, waiting for the same dawn, turns two species into something neither one was before. The wolf did not become a dog because ancient humans were kind. It became a dog because both species were cold, outnumbered, and operating on the same frozen landscape with the same brutal calculation running in their heads every single night. Survive until morning, whatever that takes. The dog sleeping at the end of your bed tonight is the direct descendant of a wolf that made that calculation 30,000 years ago and decided the humans were the best answer it had. It was not wrong.